We're headed towards either superintelligence or civilization ending.
The biggest issue I see with so-called AI experts is that they think they know more than they do.
Don't worry about the machines. For sure, we should understand one thing, that man can never make another man. Computer is just a toy. Computer only have chips, man have the heart.
And they think they're smarter than they actually are. In general, but much less smart, dumber than we think we are, by a lot. This tends to plague smart people. They just can't, they define themselves by their intelligence, and they don't like the idea that a machine could be way smarter than them, so they discount the idea, which is fundamentally flawed. That's the wishful thinking situation.
Well, computers actually are already much smarter than people on so many dimensions. We just keep moving the goalposts. AlphaGo beat Lisa Alpha 1. Then there's AlphaZero. AlphaZero crushed AlphaGo 100 to 0. Hopeless. We're hopelessly inadequate. In terms of rendering, basically there's just a smaller and smaller corner of intellectual pursuits that humans are better than computers.
Couldn't AI, even in this moment, just with the technology that we have before us, be used in some fairly destructive ways?
You could make a swarm of assassin drones for very little money by just taking the Face ID chip that's used in cell phones and having a small explosive charge and a standard drone, and have them just do a grid sweep of the building until they find the person they're looking for, ram into them and explode. You can do that right now. No new technology is needed.
AI is much more advanced than people realize, and the pace of progress is much greater than people realize. You know, it'd be fairly obvious if you saw a robot walking around talking and behaving like a person, you're like, whoa, that's like, what's that? You know, that would be really obvious. What's not obvious is a huge server bank in a dark vault somewhere with an intelligence that's potentially vastly greater than what a human mind can do. I mean, its eyes and ears would be everywhere. Every camera, every microphone, every device that's network accessible. That's really what AI means. It's not like a robot running around. The robots would simply be, they'd be like a finger of the AI.
We're headed towards either superintelligence or civilization ending.
I would argue that AI is unequivocally something that has potential to be dangerous to the public. Digital intelligence will be able to outthink us in every way, and it will soon be able to simulate what we consider consciousness. So to a degree that you would not be able to tell the difference.
We'll not be able to hold a candle to AI.
Moving so fast you can't see it without a strobe light.
Yeah, you could probably do that right now.
And no one's really paying attention too much, other than people like you or people that are really obsessed with technology. All these things are happening, and these robots are... Did you see the one where PETA put out a statement that you shouldn't kick robots?
Probably not wise.
I think we'll see autonomy and artificial intelligence advance tremendously. I think that's actually quite near term. But deep artificial intelligence, or what is sometimes called artificial general intelligence, where you could have AI that is much smarter than the smartest human on Earth. This, I think, is a dangerous situation.
Why it is dangerous? I mean, there is two views. One view is artificial intelligence will help humanity. There is another school of thought is artificial intelligence is a threat to humanity. Why is that?
Well, I think it's both. There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better.
As the algorithms and the hardware improve, that digital intelligence will exceed biological intelligence by a substantial margin. It's obvious.
Are you honestly, legitimately concerned about this? Is like AI one of your main worries in regards to the future?
It's definitely going to be outside of human control. The thing that's going to be tricky here is that it's going to be very tempting to use AI as a weapon. It's going to be very tempting. In fact, it will be used as a weapon. So the on-ramp to serious AI, the danger is going to be more humans using it against each other, I think, most likely.
Excuse me, how could AI destroy civilization?
It would be something the same way that
humans destroyed the habitat of primates. It wouldn't necessarily be destroyed, but it might be relegated to a small corner of the world. When Homo sapiens became much smarter than other primates, it pushed all the other ones into small habitats. They're just in the way.
Humanity's position on this planet depends on its intelligence. So if our intelligence is exceeded, it's unlikely that we will remain in charge of the planet.
How far away are we from something that's really truly sentient?
People call it the singularity, and that's probably a good way to think about it. It's a singularity. It's hard to predict, like a black hole, what happens past the event horizon.
Right. So once it's implemented, it's very difficult because it will
Once
be
the
able
genie's
to
out of the bottle, what's
right.
going to happen?
And it will be able to improve itself.
Yes.
That's where it gets spooky, right? The idea that it can do thousands of years of innovation. We're very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So AI is allowing us to imagine a differently powered economy that will create this abundance. What are you most worried about going on?
Well, like I said, AI and robotics will bring out what might be termed the age of abundance. Other people have used this word, and that this is my prediction. Will be an age of abundance for everyone. I guess there's the dangers would be the artificial general intelligence or digital superintelligence decouples from a collective human will and goes in a direction that for some reason you don't like, whatever direction it might go.
I'm really I'm very close to the cutting edge in AI, and it scares the hell out of me. It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows, and the rate of improvement is exponential. Nobody expected that rate of improvement. If you ask those same experts who think AI is not progressing at the rate that I'm saying, I think you will find that their predictions for things like Go and other AI advancements have their batting average is quite weak. It's not good.
Like, we will not be able to be smarter than a digital supercomputer. So therefore, if you cannot beat them, join them.
I invested in those companies to keep an eye on them. I wanted to see how artificial intelligence was developing. If we're not careful about the advent of AI, it's possible that there could be what's called a bad utility function. A computer will do exactly what its goal is. I am concerned about certain directions that AI could take that would be not good for the future. I created OpenAI, which is an AI, it's a nonprofit actually. So OpenAI has a very high sense of urgency, and I think that the people that have joined are really, really amazing. And the intent with OpenAI is to democratize AI power. And so I think it's important, if we have this incredible power of AI, that it not be concentrated in the hands of a few and potentially lead to a world that we don't want.
And what world is that? What do you foresee that when you see it?
And do you worry specifically about any of these companies I mentioned, who've all seemed to now kind of be pivoting toward this as the battleground in the next 10 years?
I won't name a name, but there is only one. It's sort of like what would be the point of competing for, mutual destruction? It's like it's not about competing. It's really just about trying to increase the probability that the future will be good.
But we've come a long way, and it's I think we've, compared to that, it's going to be very impressive. Our goal is to make a useful humanoid robot as quickly as possible. The Optimus is designed to be an extremely capable robot, but made in very high volume, probably ultimately millions of units, and it is expected to cost much less than a car.
However, I think if AI power is widely distributed, and there's not, say, one entity that has some super AI that is 1,000,000 times smarter than anything else. If instead the AI power is broadly distributed, and to the degree that we can link AI power to each individual's will. So like you would have your AI agent, and everyone would have their sort of AI agent,
then if somebody did try to do something really terrible, well, then the collective will of others could overcome that bad actor.
Do you think that it's likely that we will merge somehow or another with this sort of technology and it'll augment what we are now? Or do you think it will replace us?
From a long-term existential standpoint, that's like the purpose of Neuralink, is to create a high bandwidth interface to the brain such that we can be symbiotic with AI. Sure.
So instead of replacing us, it will radically change our capabilities.
Yes, it will enable anyone who wants to have superhuman cognition.
The AI, the analogy to nuclear bombing is not exactly correct. It's not as though it's going to explode and create a mushroom cloud. It's more if there were just a few people that had it, they would be able to be essentially dictators of Earth. Or whoever acquired it, and if it was limited to a small number of people, they were ultra smart, they would have dominion over Earth.
Well, I think the first bit of advice would be to really pay close attention to the development of artificial intelligence. I think we need to just be very careful in how we adopt artificial intelligence and to make sure that researchers don't get carried away. Because sometimes what happens is a scientist can get so engrossed in their work, they don't necessarily realize the ramifications of what they're doing. So I think it's important for public safety that governments keep a close eye on artificial intelligence and make sure that it does not represent a danger to the public.
So the rate of improvement is really dramatic. We have to figure out some way to ensure that the advent of digital superintelligence is one which is symbiotic with humanity. I think that's the single biggest existential crisis that we face, and the most pressing one.